David Dees was murdered. David Dees was dosed and slow killed like many other people out there. It was made to look like cancer, like when somebody's put on a ventilator and they say they died from COVID. We know they're murdering people with treatments out there, chemo, radiation, you name it. And the trigger, of course, is eugenic slow kill. They killed Seth Rich, they killed Breitbart, they killed Tom Clancy, they killed the dude from Gray State, many others. Ladies and gentlemen, Hillary body count, many things to talk about here, to say the least. But David Dees was an inspiration to many people out there, and like many other truthers, David Dees was targeted, to say the least. And we're going to be going through some of these inspirational artworks from David Dees. We had him on the show numerous times. He was part of the crew for a while. It was a highlight of our adventure on STFM. Not sure how many people remember us having David Dees. And we just learned about this yesterday, even though the murder occurred on May 31st, 2020. He was barely 60 years old, ladies and gentlemen. An unbelievable loss, and it went without much fanfare. Not a whole lot of people probably know, to say the least. And we've been using David Dees' artwork on our pages for years. And like I said, it was it was a huge kind of compliment to get that guy on the show. And there's just so much to say about David Dees. This is probably the first meme that we used. And it was like time traveling, from the happy days to where we are today. We often say that in the show, look at the devolution since the happy days, since Leave It to Beaver, since the Brady Bunch. That's what they've stolen from us. Go check out Nick at Night and the like. That's what they've stolen from us, ladies and gentlemen, through social engineering, through the poisoning of our society, through drugs and music and movies and the like. The culture has become poison. They've poisoned the well. They've polluted our entire world. And they've transformed it into something reminiscent of a horror movie in the image of the devil, and they've made everything ugly and dumb and violent and disturbing, to say the least. But truly, this guy got it. You could tell by his fruits, his work. David Dees got it. He understood the very nature of what we're up against, the epic struggle of good versus evil. And that's why it was, a huge privilege to have David Dees on the show. And it's a reminder to everyone out there to be careful, because this is a real war. And many of you are running around out there like it's so cool, like, 9/11 was an inside job. Look at this, the video guy is fired, to say the least. But so many people think it's cool to be a truther out there. But there's prices to pay. This is a real war. And you're being targeted for elimination, just for your political affiliation, just for your religious beliefs, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, look at this. The video guy is so fired. Guess we're going to have to come back to that scene another time, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. That's the new America. Gone are the days of the Brady Bunch, ladies and gentlemen. And now it's like, the big fat morons, the useless eaters out there. And, everything that you buy is essentially slow kill, to say the least. And sometimes you just have to wish that the video guy would do his job. But again, the artwork of David Dees has touched millions, if not billions of people. And just like many other truthers out there, just like many other activists out there, you know, we're certainly not getting our Pulitzer prizes. We're not getting our, you know, awards. We're not getting our recognition. Why? Because the system isn't there to promote truth. It's there to promote evil, ladies and gentlemen. And so we now live in a country where telling the truth is a crime. You know, what's the opposite of liberty? I'm sure you could come up with a lot of words, but it's basically restrictions. And that's what this COVID company is all about. It's new restrictions. It's a buffet, all you can eat buffet of new restrictions, new laws, new tyranny coming your way, ladies and gentlemen. And it's like bondage, you know, they're putting a mask on your face. They're making it harder for you to breathe one way or another. With the COVID, without the COVID, you're restricted. You're less free. And that's part of the pandemic. And it's no different than all of the other Gladio B events that we've seen since 9/11. It's part of the plan. It's part of the Agenda 21. It's part of the New World Order, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, talking about that makes you a target. And they want to take down, you know, our videos, your content, punish you, putting you in, you know, their jail, their prison, and the like. And, you know, it screams tyranny. It screams, you know, you're not free. It's bondage. It's censorship. It's obfuscation and the like. And that's the opposite of what America stands for. And, you know, they can censor people and call it community standards, but look, this is America. They have to respect the rights of every citizen out there, regardless if you like their speech or not. And, you know, if they can't, you know, they're trying to set up their own laws, their own world with community standards. But they have to respect, you know, the U.S. Constitution. If they want to do business in America, they have to respect free speech. People have a right to express themselves. But this is just another sign of the times. Again, this is all of the artwork that we could find right now. I'm sure one day this will be censored and banned as well. Artwork is no longer allowed. Free speech no longer allowed. And they can, you know, talk about it or classify it however they want. Hate speech, dangerous speech, you know, a violation of community standards. It's still suppression of free speech. And, you know, they can put lipstick on it and the like. But yeah, you know, this is probably the meme that got, you know, David Dees killed. Probably all of them, in fact. And, you know, just about anybody that, you know, has gone after the system one way or the other has become a target, ladies and gentlemen. And there's a long list of people on that body count list. Seth Rich, Vince Foster, you name it. And many other, you know, journalists and the like. I mean, it's not just, you know, Julian Assange or Snowden or, you know, Bradley Manning and the like. It's not just the ones that are alive that they're going after. They went after the ones that they killed as well. The Seth Rich, I mean, a ton of them. And, you know, this is the kind of evil that we're up against. And we got this one up on our Twitter feed right now. We've got a different one on our Facebook. We've got a different one. Well, we had a different one on the ScrewTube. But those channels just keep getting pulled, ladies and gentlemen. Just like the World Trade Center buildings. WTC7 pulled. How many remember that? And so if you show up in protest, here you are, you know, getting arrested. Powerful, you know, memes. And really kind of set the bar for, you know, a lot of things when it comes to activism on the internet. But it's because of people like David Dees and many others that free speech is now no longer allowed. This is, you know, considered dangerous, a thought crime, and the like. And it is now illegal to speak your mind. Imagine that. I mean, you're thinking something, it just comes out, oh, not allowed. ladies and gentlemen. So, this is a big loss. We feel, tremendously disturbed by this news. And I think everybody should know. I don't think there's a lot of, people talking about it. We just learned about it. There wasn't, any kind of mention on CNN or, Fox News, but there should have been, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, this was basically an American folk hero. David Dees, a legend in just about every circle, every group on the internet. Everybody's seen his artwork, whether you like it or not. There's definitely some truth there. We've got this on our Twitter as well. Read the NASA documents. Here come the Terminators, the Matrix, the Robocops coming for you. And look, I mean, we're just walking right into it. We know it's a trap. We know all of this technology, this innovation is a trap. We know these people on television are lying to us. We know that the system is out to get us with the fluoride, the vaccines, the GMOs, the pesticides, the death towers, the chemtrails. We know they're out to get us. And, David Dees was a folk hero, was a legend in many circles. Many of you saw his artwork and you didn't even know. Perhaps. But everybody's, pretty much used it one way or another. And, he probably didn't get all the credit he deserved. I know that, we were basically, just using it, all of his artwork, just like that, because we thought it was the coolest stuff out there. And eventually he tracked us down, started sending us messages. Hey, what's going on over there? I'm like, who's this? He's like, David Dees. I'm like, get out of here. Get out of town. You're not the David Dees. He's like, yeah, man. And so we started talking, and I was like, dude, you're so legendary. Let me get you on the show. And he came on a couple times, in fact. And, that's when we had the big page. It was back in the day when we had like, 1 million subscribers on a fake book page, and then they stole it from us like a bunch of klepto fucking bitches. Pardon the language. And, it was excellent. We've had some, big names on the show. Kent Hovind. Who remembers that guy? And, we've had just about all the, all the big names, pretty much. Dabu, and we've had Richie from Boston. We've had, a bunch of people on the show. Adam Kokesh, more recently, many others. But we also had David Dees on the show, and that was a trip. I mean, how many people remember, some of these memes? And they totally captured the future in a sense that, we'll never forget. And so we'll be highlighting a lot more of, David Dees' artwork, to say the least. Not sure what the video guy is doing, but he's on vacation, bitches. Jimmy Savile, another mega pedo connected to the establishment. Just like the Epstein thing, just like the Podesta files and the Pizzagate, the Marina Abramovich, the works, And we're finding out all these people are connected, from Bill Gates, through Epstein, through, all sorts of crazy things. And, Bill Gates had a big pedophile bust at his campus, at his private home. They blamed it on the tech guy. Right? Now, this is pretty recent from this year. I mean, David Dees was, making stuff all the way till the end. And nobody knew that he was suffering, ladies and gentlemen. And it's just like most people out there, they're suffering in silence, one way or the other. Some people are in denial. Some people are coping with it. Some people, are doing the best they can and the like. But in any case, David Dees was a fighter till the very end. And that's what we're all called to do, to carry our cross till the very end, to oppose this evil. Ladies and gentlemen, some people kind of, wonder, why does evil even exist? Why is the world so cruel and unusual? And it's part of the polarization process, like magnetism, positive and negative. The bad makes the good seem better, and the good makes the bad seem worse. And essentially, by the end of it, I mean, you're so repulsed by one or the other. You're repulsed by either evil or good. And, you know, you never leave this world, you know, for the most part as a neutral person. You're one or the other, good or evil, darkness or light. How many people remember this meme right here? Mandatory vaccine checkpoints. You know, this is an old one. This is a very old one. This is probably, I would almost say 10 years old. And it's exactly that. And, you know, some of these memes are nearly as prophetic as The Simpsons. They've aged extremely well, which is more than we can say for most of the things that we see on television. You know, just a couple of months ago, they were like, oh, masks are useless. You don't need a mask. Just wash your hands, right? Breathe it in, bitches. Like the movie Training Day. Remember that movie Training Day when Denzel takes a shotgun and blows away the, you know, the dude on the chair or the couch? And he's like, breathe it in, dog. Breathe it in, right? That's the way these people are. Serial killers and the like. They love to watch people, you know, suffer. That's how the sadistic are. And the people that unleashed this virus and destroyed our world, the people responsible for this pandemic, Gates, Fauci, and the like, you know, they're getting off on watching everybody run around like rats, you know, basically. They're getting off on everybody suffering and the misery. And, you know, they're so high up in society and they're, you know, eating it up at the Four Seasons or whatever, right? While the rest of us are all like, you know, trying to survive. Don't ask me what the video guy is doing. But, yeah, I mean, all of these memes have aged extremely well. And, you know, we've actually made flyers, 5G flyers for local distribution in the real world. And, you know, used some David Dees artwork, to say the least. 5G. I mean, this guy was on it all the way till the end. And, you know, not everybody's going to get, you know, a huge eulogy or, you know, a statue, you know, in their name for fighting this fight. Ladies and gentlemen, most of us will never, you know, be recognized for, you know, what we've done, our contributions and the like, but our ideas will live on. No army can stop an idea whose time has come, and we've literally, you know, transformed the world, you know, in this movement, talking about the eugenics programs, talking about, you know, the Luciferians out there that are trying to, you know, groom and molest children and indoctrinate them and basically convert them into, you know, Luciferians, devil worshippers, pagans, heathens, and the like, witches, and they're all, you know, into Harry Potter and things of that nature, ladies and gentlemen. But, yeah, I mean, you know, we made a flyer with this on it and some other 5G, mega 5G antennas and the kids, you know, screaming and running and the like. But you should think about what you're getting dosed with these days. It's never been like this in the history of mankind, and you just want to go out there like a guinea pig. I mean, it's so, you know, frightening, to be quite honest with you, watching the sheeple like at the mall, you know, with the AirPods and the cell phone, and they're just sitting there trying to be cool and stuff. Look at me, I got the latest, you know, eugenics. And nothing screams stupidity like watching people, you know, bring a phone to their head. They're like nuking their brain, ladies and gentlemen. But you know, there's so much to be said about David Dees. You know, this was the header of our, you know, big page back in the day, 1 million subscribers before they took it away. And, you know, we'd reached 1 billion people by that time. You know, I think we broke the internet, to be quite honest with you. And the censorship really was more or less because of our page. I mean, we were just blowing it up with the Pizzagate and the like, Hillary for prison, creepy Biden, you know, those old school videos. We'll bring them back. We've got, you know, the archives full. They might have deleted them off the internet, but we've still got them. And they've aged well, as you can imagine, too, ladies and gentlemen. And, you know, this was back in the days of the, you know, of the shootings, Aurora, Sandy Hook, Boston, San Bernardino, Orlando, all Gladio B events, crisis actors everywhere and the like. And, you know, all of those investigations really were, transformational in terms of exposing what was going on. They were literally trying to grab your guns and unarm you, disarm you. Why? Because if you uncovered what they were doing, you would want to shoot them. And look, you have to understand that they have declared war on you. They're actively trying to kill you and everyone you love. And you're either going to sit there and do nothing, or you're going to defend yourselves. And the problem with slow kill and eugenics is that by the time you understand what's going on, it's too late. And you don't have the energy like you used to. You don't have the motivation like you used to. You don't have the perspective like you used to. And you're just like, well, fuck it, and whatever. And it's pretty much over. The time to fight back is while you still can, when you're at your maximum force. I mean, you think about all the professional fights out there. They're training for months, whether it be UFC or, heavyweight champion of the world. They're training for months, right? And they want to be in their prime condition when they step into the ring. They don't step into the ring all cold. They warm up, they get hot, they're ready. They did their stretching, they lifted, some weights or whatever, did a little cocaine or what have you. And, they go in, to prime condition to fight. But here, people that are being like gassed and sprayed and irradiated and the like, they want to wait until they're basically on their deathbed to do something about it. What are you going to do then? Hit like and share? And so we should be going in this fight, like any war, in our prime condition. These people have declared war by, unleashing this virus. It's for sure a pandemic. We've got the receipt to the murder weapon. Fauci funding coronavirus research at the Wuhan lab. There's a reason why this happened in Wuhan. There's a reason why this was coronavirus. It's because Fauci and company were funding it. And they let it in. Didn't you think it was nice and convenient that they let it in and gave everybody the wrong advice to make sure that they would get infected? If masks are going to be mandatory now, and we're going to be getting into this in a future broadcast here, but masks are about to become mandatory everywhere indoors. It's already starting in NATO countries. You're just not hearing about it just yet for the most part. But if masks are going to be mandatory for your safety now, why wasn't it said so back in January or February when that could have made a difference? They knew this was SARS. They knew this was airborne. They knew this was pneumonia that had attacked the lungs. What kind of respiratory disease, infectious respiratory disease, isn't airborne? Anthrax or the plague or whatever. They're all airborne. That's why it's the lungs and not the ears or, your hair or something. You breathe it in and you get infected, and then it's pneumonia, and then it's obvious. To every biologist in the world, it was obvious day one this was an airborne virus, and they're like telling people, oh no, masks are useless, just wash your hands. If that wasn't like a bullet to the head to every man, woman, and child in this country, I don't know what is. And so they made sure that everybody would be infected, ladies and gentlemen. And they paid for this virus. It's their virus. Just like it's their GMOs, their fluoride, their vaccines, their death towers, their chemtrails. They're out to kill you. And you don't need, 10 million excuses to understand what's going on. If you're driving down the highway and somebody drives by and they're like, start flipping you off, I think you get the idea. Now, if all of a sudden they're cutting you off and then they stop in front of you and pull out a gun, I think you get the idea. Now, imagine if they start spraying you, irradiating you, injecting you and the like, and you keep asking yourselves, I wonder what's going on. People can't be that stupid, can they? Well, they are. It's bad, too. We were in the mountains today, and on the fringes of a city or a town, we basically set up a picnic table and, the laptop, did the kind of San Francisco workstation from the street kind of thing. Not sure if you've seen, reports like that. But just found a little parking spot, pulled out a picnic table, a lawn chair, a laptop, and a 4G modem tethered, via USB cable, about like 10-15 feet of it. And we attached the modem to a little lamp post, kind of like a smart, like a smart lamp, smart street lamp, kind of ghetto out in the country, with this long USB cable to the laptop and picnic table. And people are walking by and like, oh, what are you doing? You getting the internet? And I'm like, yep, getting the internet, hacking the matrix, right? And they're following the USB cable, like the string, to the antenna. And they're like, they get up real close and they start looking at it, and they start, looking at me, and I'm like, yeah, smiling, no worse than a death hour, right? No worse than a smartphone. But you had all sorts of people walk by, some not even really kind of like paying attention to what was going on. And we wanted to take video, but that would have made, the thing even more awkward. And people are just walking by like, oh, yeah, no big deal. It's kind of weird. I wonder what that weirdo's doing, And it's like, this is the new, workstation. But in any case, 9 out of 10 people that walked by walked right in front of this thing instead of walking on the other side of this little street, in the village, at the edge of a village in the small town. Now, had I been walking by and I seen a dude like that, setting up all his gear, laptop, computer, with a big long cable to something attached to a street pole, I probably wouldn't want to get too close, but you never know, ladies and gentlemen. In any case, the sheeple have no clue of what's going on out there. None. And totally unaware of their surroundings. And that's what makes these eugenics programs possible, is because people don't really appreciate the dangers of what's going on. And if they did, they would do something about it. And I think that's where we really have to, step up our game. Everybody's got to be, an activist when it comes to the big picture out there, the epic struggle of good versus evil. I mean, evil just wants to destroy everything that's living. They want to destroy nature. They want to destroy creation. That's the nature of evil. They're not pro-life, they're pro-death. They can call it pro-choice or whatever. But that's who these people are. They're pro-death, and they want to kill everybody. Just like a Jonestown cult, essentially. Everybody's got to drink the Kool-Aid. Everybody's got to eat the GMOs. Everybody's got to eat the fluoride. Everybody's got to get basically infected with their virus. And, people really need to recognize what's going on and not just accept it like as progress. Ooh, this is progress. This is wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not just because you can do something that you should do something. And to be quite honest with you, innovation is punishment in disguise. It all has a side effect. And there's no doubt that these people are trying to get you. And, the luxury, the beauty of silent weapons and slow kill is that, it looks like, quote unquote, natural causes or some kind of, acceptable cause of death like cancer or COVID. But it might as well be a bullet to the head. And, there really isn't enough research out there to say that, the consumer products that are out there today are really safe. Most of the research that we see on, wireless radiation, EMF, Wi-Fi, death hours, vaccines, fluoride, GMOs, most of it is real negative in nature. Most of it is saying, well, it causes cancer, it's problematic, it does this, it does that. There hardly isn't anybody out there that's saying, oh, this stuff is really completely safe, unless they're backed by, lobbyists or big, telecom dollars and the like. Those people, of course, will tell you that their products are safe because they want you to buy it, ladies and gentlemen. And so they're sales reps telling you that, yeah, this is wonderful. But that's not necessarily the case, ladies and gentlemen. It's not necessarily so wonderful. And, again, the big breaking news here is that we've just learned that David Dees was murdered at a very young age, barely 60. I mean, that sounds kind of old, but, they robbed him of 20 or 30 years of life. And, they called it cancer, but undoubtedly they triggered it and they didn't give him, the right treatments and the like. And, even in the case that it was all natural and, he opted out of all the treatments and what have you, there's so many mines in the minefield out there in society that it's basically impossible to escape it all. And one way or another, these people are going to get you. It's just a matter of time. And we should clean up our world. We should clean up our environment, our society, our country, and make it a more pure and natural and harmonious place. We can go back to the 1950s. Wouldn't that be just like, a hoot if we could just jump in a time machine? Who wouldn't do that right now and jump back to Leave It to Beaver days and just blend in, and pretend like, all of this shit didn't happen. Like we didn't see, what the future, was. And we'd be just like, oh, let's forget it. I would totally jump in a time machine right now. 1950s, here I come. And just forget about it. 50 years of just normal living. Oh, doesn't that sound sexy right now? I would do it. I'd get in that time machine. And maybe I would warn people, Be like, hey man, watch out for these fuckers. Pardon the language. And quit watching TV. You might think you're crazy back then, but look, what if the bad guys, the Zuckerbergs, the Bezos, the Elon Musk, what if somebody in their clan had a time machine? Rumor is, Trump's uncle worked at MIT, got all of Tesla's paperwork way back in the day. You never know. The Simpsons, Trump, you never know. What if they had a time machine and they were manipulating society to turn it into more and more of a hell on earth? What if we were dealing with an enemy that could tell the future, ladies and gentlemen? How do you win in that kind of situation? Well, it helps to know that that's what they're doing, doesn't it? And I think until we can rule that out, we better start thinking like that. That whatever we throw at this system, they're going to try and, work around it. And look, that means we just got to be extra hardcore. And many people, went through this July 4th kind of wondering, where's the boogaloo and the like. And, that's a word in everybody's vocabulary now. The seeds have been sown. And when Trump gets, blown out in the next election, all the conservatives are looking at creepy Biden getting sworn in. And all hell's about to break loose. He's coming after everybody that shared a creepy Biden video. You should all be fucking scared right now. To be quite honest. But, when it all kind of, the dust settles and it just kind of sinks in and you're crying like the libtards back in 2016, you'll be thinking about boogaloo, bitches. Trust me. And, playing chess isn't about just like one or two moves ahead. It's about the end game. What's the end game? These Luciferians have their plans. They've got their agenda. They've got their end game. They want to kill you all. What are you going to do? You're going to go out like a bitch? Is that what you're going to do? You're just going to stay at home, grab your ankles, and shelter in place as they, insert their fingers wherever they might please? Don't forget the Astroglide and your white flag next time you're at the store. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't have one, a white flag, you can make one all by yourself. And you should get that ready because they're coming door to door. Mandatory masks are coming, mandatory vaccines, more restrictions, and the like. And, what we saw in Australia was rather shocking. An entire city is under siege right now, the city of Melbourne, locked up, cut off from the rest of the world. Somehow that's not in the headlines. But a huge city in the Western world, well, they speak English. A huge city in an English-speaking country has been cut off from the rest of the world. And that's a prototype for what's coming next. They're just practicing for, what can happen, what will happen in other countries. And, thinking about Australia right now, I mean, they got their guns taken away. They're the nicest people pretty much. Real, civil. And they're almost back in the 1950s in terms of like just being all proper and all that. And, they're going to eat it huge. they're so nice and kind and everything, and they got no guns. And here comes the New World Order, just like surrounding the city with like their iron curtain or their iron wall, locking everybody down, paperwork, tests, you know, vaccines, get your fluoride, bitches. And I think that, you know, people better pay attention to what's going on out there, or you'll be next. You know, at first they came for the Australians, at first they came for the Chinese, but soon they'll be coming for you, bitches. And this is what we get for being ultra complacent since, you know, 9/11. We should have stormed the White House. We should have stormed the Capitol. We should have taken our country back like, you know, the people of 1776. You know, they went to war over taxes, bitches. Here you are getting sprayed and irradiated and dosed and infected. And you're just going to go out like a bitch because you're so, you know, docile, feminized. That's right, I said it, feminized. You've been feminized. You're, you know, you're growing lips, bitches. That's what I'm saying. You understand? So, look at what they're doing to our kids. Look at what they've done to our society. Look how they're killing everybody. What do you got to lose at this stage? Really, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, everybody's been infected with this doomsday virus. It looks like it's got all sorts of, you know, nasty properties like being cut with HIV, rabies, mononucleosis, and it looks like it may spawn cancer. Many viruses do spawn cancer. This is definitely going to be a death sentence for everyone eventually. What do you have to lose? There's no telling how much time you have left. What are you going to do? Waste it on trying to steal shoes? Let's get this country back. Let's just say, you know, fuck it. And I think, you know, the time will come when people will realize that that's appropriate. And it may not be today, it may not be tomorrow. But come election day, come November 4th, the day after, oh, I can't wait. I wish I could fast forward a little bit, you know, have a little mirror, time traveling mirror, and just looking into the future, November 4th, what does that look like? But this must be like really one of the first memes from David Dees that we really used a lot, and it just, you know, captured our imagination. You know, the good old days, you know, the golden era in America, looking into the future, looking into what it's become. Look how slender and nice and proper and decent people were, how normal they were. Normal, that's still a fucking word. Normal. Look at them now. Look at them now. You can see the demons, you know, in their faces. You can see how twisted and tortured these people are. They're unhappy. They've been broken spiritually, physically, mentally, enslaved, turned into monsters, turned into trolls. And it's only going to get worse. That's the future of our country, unless we fight back, ladies and gentlemen. And that future is pretty much already here. So fight back on all of these issues. Fight back on the eugenics programs. The people that are talking about anything but eugenics are so disingenuous, they might as well be the people pulling the trigger. All these people on television, the politicians that would dismiss, you know, the overwhelming evidence, the mountain of evidence, the orgy of evidence out there that eugenics programs do exist, that they're calling the masses, and, you know, and the like. So like and share, you know, let everybody know what happened to David Dees, what happened to that dude from Gray State, Breitbart, Michael Hastings, Tom Clancy, many others, whistleblowers being persecuted, prosecuted, and the like. And our system has been weaponized to target, you know, Christians and truthers and wholesome individuals out there, and everybody should be aware. This isn't your imagination. Does it look like your imagination out there when you're driving around out there? You see everybody with their masks, hearing the numbers go up. I mean, another round of lockdown is coming. Dark winter is coming. Do you think that's your imagination? This is exactly, you know, what we've been talking about for years, as well as David Dees and many others, and we're you know, very happy and the like that we were able to get him on the show numerous times. And it is sad, ladies and gentlemen, but look, you know, we're all going out one way or another, and we better start acting accordingly. You know, many people out there, especially the guys, have lost touch with their macho man side. He'd become just, totally metrosexualized, and it's sad to see. It's like, cattle grazing in the pasture, just waiting for the slaughterhouse. Moo, cows. Why don't you be a wild stallion out there? Wild horses, ladies and gentlemen. Anyways, we'll leave it there for this broadcast. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Much love to everybody out there. Check us out on our website, stfnreport.com, for the latest news and updates. And look for the next couple days. We're probably going to be out and about, and the broadcast might be a little slim, but keep fighting the fight out there. Start preparing. Start positioning yourself for dark winter. Don't come into winter naked here. Back in the day, if you didn't work all summer and harvest and all the like, you're gonna starve. Start preparing. Things are gonna get worse and worse, unfortunately. We'll leave it there. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Till the next time, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this, you are the resistance.